Hey, what's up, Googans? Beef here. It's another edition of After Drill on the 1010XL YouTube channel. I'm flying solo today. My buddy Drew Hicken is sadly unavailable today. He's under the weather a little bit, so you've got yours truly on the solo tip, as one would say, for today's edition of After Drill. Friday edition. My BFF Dan was back, and he's invented a brand new catchphrase. I think it's going to sweep the nation. He borrowed it from a video that went viral earlier this week. It's a Major League Baseball video. Maybe you saw it. It was making the rounds on Twitter. It was a video featuring former Mets manager Terry Collins as he was ejected from a ball game. Or really, it was his pitcher, Noah Syndergaard, who was being ejected from the game. And they were arguing the call with the umpire. And Terry Collins went on just this profanity-laced tirade about some kind of bug in here, on a profanity-laced tirade at the umpire, and the umpire was trying to argue with them about the call that had been made and the reason for the call being made, and the umpire used the term "our ass is in the jackpot." And nobody knew what that meant exactly, but they thought it was fantastic. And Dan so much that he's decided he's going to adopt it for himself. You know, Dan's a huge New York Mets fan, and they suck this year. I mean, they suck out loud. So he's adopted the catchphrase, "I'm Dan Hicken, my ass is in the jackpot." I think it's a hit. I'd like to see the station Pony Up the Cash make some "my ass is in the jackpot" t-shirts, maybe with like a caricature of Dan Hicken on the front of it, much like this caricature here of Kyle Gass on my t-shirt. Like Dan's head on the back could say "my ass is in the jackpot." I think it'd be a huge moneymaker. We could sell them for literally dollars upon dollars, at least five, and people would probably buy the "my ass is in the jackpot" t-shirt. That's how dynamic this catchphrase could be for us. Huge money making endeavor, chance to really rake in some cash. It was a fun show. We talked with Phil Steele, talking college football. He's got the always encyclopedic Phil Steele college football preview. It's going to be hitting, your retailers here before the end of the month. But right now, you can go online at philsteele.com and download it. Phil is optimistic about the Florida Gators. I don't know that I share his opinion, but Phil seems to feel pretty good about the Florida Gators' chances. He even had them listed as a dark horse national title contender. A lot of things would have to go right at the University of Florida for them to get into that mix, but stranger things have happened for sure in the world of college football. Of course, it's day four of the LeBron Watch 2018 as we wait with bated breath to see exactly where the king will make his home, put his throne, and don his crown in 2018 and beyond. And it appears right now that the at least gambling favorite is the LA Lakers. I know there was a lot of speculation when LeBron signed his deal with Cleveland that LA could be his ultimate destination to wrap up his career. He has a home in LA. He loves LA, and I've been saying all along. I feel like legacy wise, I think it would mean something to LeBron to be on one of these marquee franchises in the NBA, whether it's Boston or LA or even New York to a degree. Now, some are saying there's zero chance he goes to New York. I agree. That doesn't seem like a winning situation in any immediate future for New York. So I'm not sure why you would want to go into that situation. Obviously, Boston's a great situation, but there is that dynamic with Kyrie, and we don't know how LeBron feels about Boston as a market or about the Celtics as an organization, but he loves LA. He has a home in New York. If they think there's a window for them to secure a title opportunity, they'll make it work. And I could see them doing the same with LeBron. I mean, ESPN had an article saying that they could see, they kind of mapped out a course for the Lakers to somehow secure LeBron James, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. Now, there's a lot of moving parts that would have to take place for that to go down. But a team with those three guys and some of the pieces that still exist in LA would certainly be at least competitive with Golden State. I wouldn't necessarily call them a favorite over Golden State, but LeBron has already shown with that ragtag group in Cleveland that with the right pieces he can at least compete with Golden State. So if he's got the superstars, it could be a dynamic team that could maybe get into it and maybe give Golden State a run for the money. It certainly would make the NBA look like it did, kind of at the end of the 90s and in the early 2000s, when the balance of power shifted so dramatically to the Western Conference, and it seemed like whoever was coming out of the West was going to be your champion. I mean, we had a run from 99 to 2007 where all but two of the winners of the NBA title were from the Western Conference. The Spurs and the Lakers just dominated that decade. Outside of a flare up where the Pistons won that title over the Lakers, and where the Heat won a title. Other than that, it was all Spurs or Lakers, and I could see that being the same situation if LeBron puts this team together in LA. That those two, Golden State and LeBron's Lakers, would battle for the foreseeable future in the Western Conference. Now, I don't know how many miles LeBron has left on the old tires there, going 15 years now into his NBA career. I don't know how much longer he can do it at the top level, but if he pairs himself up with a couple legit superstars, he might be able to downshift a little bit throughout the regular season and try and keep a little extra gas in the tank as they head towards the postseason, try and keep himself with the opportunity to really come in and dominate in the postseason like he can. A lot of guys at the later stage of their career have turned into that type of player where you strategize, because it's hard to play balls to the wall for 82 games and then throughout the entire playoffs and still have a lot left in the tank when you're approaching your mid-30s and your past played. He's made deep playoff runs for a lot of years, and he's played on those Olympic teams too. He's put a lot of tread on those signature Nikes of his. So we'll have to see what LeBron James decides to do in free agency. Of course, the U.S. Open's underway. Round 2's underway. Boy, it was brutal. Brutal Thursday at the U.S. Open. Guys really struggled. Some of that obviously due to just the conditions at the course. The U.S. Open is always a tough course, but the shift in the winds really wrecked a lot of guys. And the fact that there was only 4 dudes even below par, and those were your 4 leaders, says a lot about the conditions at this U.S. Open. Now, things may change into round 2 and through the weekend where they try and get a few more scoring opportunities, maybe a little more favorable pin locations to try and give guys a chance to score. Maybe. But I think the U.S. Open and the USGA, they don't want guys winning the U.S. Open at 12, 13, 15 under par. They want guys winning the U.S. Open at 2 or 3 under par. They want it to be a battle. They want guys to have to grind out this tournament. It's supposed to be the ultimate test, and it's looking like it'll be that again this year. Of course, that's not the only thing going on. The College World Series about to get underway. The Florida Gators will open their College World Series play Sunday night, a 7 o'clock game against Texas Tech. So, it'll be big for Kevin O'Sullivan and his Gators to try and win that first game. It's always critical at the College World Series to get that first win. You don't want to drop into that loser's bracket out of the chute. You want to get that first win and get into that top bracket and try and stay alive and try and battle through it. It's a grind at the College World Series. It's not easy, but the Gators in their 4th straight World Series and looking for back-to-back titles. We'll see if they can get it done. This World Series, it's a little different than it has been in years past, man. It's all big boys this time. It's 8 real legit powerhouse teams. There's no sneaky Cinderella teams getting in this time. There's no Coastal Carolina or anything like that. We thought maybe Stetson would be that team this year. They couldn't get it done in the Super Regional, but it's all big boy teams. It's the Oregon State, who's a great baseball program, and North Carolina, and these are good schools in the College World Series. It's going to be a fun one to watch if you're inclined to get into the college baseball. As for me, I'm looking forward to Father's Day weekend. This is I've only been a dad for a few years, so it's my experience isn't as deep as Dan and Jeff's. But I love spending Father's Day at home. I love seeing my little guy. I love seeing what he makes for me at school. I'm not sure what he's going to whip up, but he's always got some kind of creation for Father's Day. It always makes me very happy to see what he's made and what kind of thought he's put into it. I know there's dads out there listen to the drill, a lot of you guys, and I hope you watch After Drill as well. And shout out to the dads. It's the forgotten holiday, man. I know as a dad, I'd be the first to say we don't grind as hard as mom, but it's a different grind. The dad grind's different, right? The dad grind's a little different than the mom grind in that there's pressure having to be the cool parent, right, dads? There's pressure having to be the cool guy, and then having to come in and drop the hammer. There's a balance being the dad in the world. It's not easy being us, and we dads want to just be left alone. Let us watch the golf and just leave us alone. That'll do it for today's After Drill. Of course, I'm Beef. You can find me on Twitter at Beef in the Box. The the Drill Gang minus Jeff. We're all online on Twitter. You can find Dan Hicken at Dan Hicken. Tyler Devitt is at 1010XL Tyler. Jeff, if you want to get him, use the hashtag TwitterListJeff. It'll find us, and we'll relay the message to him. Just try to be nice. He's very sensitive. And we'll talk to you Monday for another edition of After Drill. Hopefully Drew Drew's feeling better. If not, you'll get yours truly again, and you're welcome.